Ladies and gentlemen, I am the Hurricane. You already know. My man to the left of me is a up-and-coming podcast star. Ratings are way up, man. It was a great business move. I saw this guy act like a fool and watching the soccer game at Mason 21, and I said, there's my guy right there.
I got a face for the podcast.
There's my guy. You know you're a good-looking
I got the face for the podcast.
There's my guy right there, and we lock him up. He is the Fall Rivers #1 sporting fan.
I don't know about that, though.
All right.
I don't know.
I'll
take top 5.
You're not supposed to interview, you're not supposed to bury the lead, Rob. What's the word called in the industry? Okay. One of the South Coast's biggest sporting fans from a family of sporting fans.
This is true.
Okay. Big soccer knowledge, big hockey knowledge, a lot of life experience all the way around.
How about this? We're the #1 family. Sporting fan. Family.
I'll give it to you. I got some of these fortune cookies, right, Rob? Can we research the fortune cookie for half a second, because this has to be like one of the greatest marketing tools of all time.
I was saying this the other day. We ordered Chinese food, and I was like, I want a bad fortune. One day just be like, dude, you're fucked. You know? But I want one time. I want that thing to just give me bad news.
Sell everything.
I just want one time.
Sell everything.
Because it makes you not believe the good ones.
Your kids will end up in jail.
Something like that. You know, hit me with it. Hit me with it.
A wise parent stays home on weekends.
There you go. There you go. I could learn a few from that.
So here you go. I'm going to do my rock and rob with Rodeo.
That'd be awesome if this one.
If
this one's like, don't drive home, walk home.
Yeah, don't drive home, walk home.
Let's see what we got here for.
I don't know if my fingers are slipping or anything.
The history of the fortune cookie, huh?
Let's see. Yep, we got. We got 1870s.
Yeah, really. Whoa.
Let's see what.
Did the United States rip this off, and there's no such thing as fortune cookies in China?
So 1870s, they're writing that in a hand paper, right? And then they're throwing it inside the cookie.
Yeah. They had to have been, I would think. Okay. What do we got going on here? And by the way, anybody who says they like the taste of fortune cookies is a liar. It's kind of like, what fortune cookies remind me of?
It's not bad, though, right?
I don't know.
You're saying it's bad?
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a giant fan either. Like, I never eat them, but I wouldn't say it's bad.
Here we go.
It's not a cookie. How about that?
In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Okay, I'm with that.
That's not a fortune.
Pretty good.
Though. That's a.
It's not really a fortune.
Yeah. Right, you're right. It's not a fortune.
You're gonna love this one.
Go ahead.
Never argue with a fool.
We'll be doing that from one of
I do that on Twitter. I do that on Twitter all the time.
My lucky numbers are 8, 21, 35, 53, 48, and 40. Go ahead, Rock and Rob. What do you got?
Oh, I didn't even catch it, man.
Oh, yeah.
You say 40? I got 41 too. Let's go play some Powerball after this.
Let's see what I got.
Not Powerball, Keno.
Oh, very dangerous.
I'm the Keno. I'm the Keno mush, by the way. No one wins. No one wins around me either.
I got the best way to predict the future is to create it.
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, they losing their fortune.
Again,
thing, right?
not a fortune.
It's more like,
not a fortune.
Yeah, I hear
That's
you.
like some soccer t-shirt right there.
Yeah, right there. Speaking of t-shirts, I ran into my man Danny Fitz today, and he has Be About It. Have you seen that yet at all?
I have.
And they're doing some interesting things. They're getting into the schools, using it as a fundraising mechanism for schools, and he's got a pretty good team together. And we talked about getting them hooked up with the Herren project because we do a shitload of t-shirts.
Oh, I think that's awesome.
But
great guy too.
But we're gonna buy some. We're gonna give some away as gifts here at the station. So yeah, he is a great guy. And he watches it because he was rattling off a bunch of things. But what's going on since we last met? How was your week?
Eventful with Halloween and all that stuff. I mean, they couldn't have scheduled this game I pulled off something miraculous that I've never done. They couldn't have scheduled this game at a better time. They would like play the Chargers last week, play the Jets this week. 1 to 4, boom, it's great. Halloween's over. Yeah. I mean, Halloween starts, you can go out. But in the middle of the game, I'm getting the stare down. So I've done something I've never done before. Me and my buddy, we were watching the game at my house. We paused it, went dark on the phones.
There you go.
Didn't go up to a single house because every single house has a giant TV and a window.
Of course, yeah.
Now, like an idiot, I'm wearing a Patriots jersey at the time.
Did you pull it off?
I pulled it off.
Wow.
We got to like the last house.
Very difficult to do in this time and age.
We got to like, I could see my house a little bit. Like we just go around the block.
Yeah.
And I was like, I pulled the, I got to go to the bathroom card. No, didn't got it.
Now, do your kids respond to your supervision on Halloween at all?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. My kids respond to everything.
Yeah. Because they're wild.
They're wild. And I allowed them to be wild, but when I tell them to cool it down.
They cool it down?
Well, most of the time. When I raise my voice, it just stops right there.
Did he steal any kids' Halloween bags? Or anything like that?
No. They steal each other's. Actually, I went through a little bit of that. Little Jolly Rancher episode before.
How's the young soccer player doing? We were talking about
Electric City.
Really?
Electric City.
I saw some film of some little black kid playing soccer the other day. You see that on YouTube?
Oh, those Brazilian kids, man, you can't even touch them.
But I think this kid's an American.
Oh, really?
And he's playing foosball inside. You know what I'm talking
about?
Oh, the
futsal, yeah.
He's playing that inside, but it was how they did the thing up was hilarious. Yeah. How's your buddy Eddie Tavares going? Listen to me. We should rent him out for parties. Eddie.
That kid,
he was wild. We had a good time. We had a good time with him.
He doesn't stop.
What?
He doesn't stop. And he's always positive, too. That's the thing. That's the guy you want around, like a hype man. Just always positive.
Yeah. I ever think about my brother's soccer story, right? This is some foul shit.
You told me one about, they were in, I don't know if it was Turkey or Spain. Spain, and then
two of them. The Fenerbahce game when 18 people got killed. He was playing basketball. He was at the game, and it was him and his wife in Barcelona.
In Spain. You told me that one.
Because Heather traveled abroad and did a semester in Spain. So they went back to where she was, and they did like a little vacation while my brother was playing in Europe. And like the town was like the city was empty. Like what's going on?
Oh, they shut everything down. It's
usually
great.
It's a market, and then they thought it was an earthquake because somebody scored.
They don't run Halloween right in the middle of the game. That's for sure over there.
No,
they got their priorities. They got their priorities down.
My brother played the Swansea Youth Soccer League before we didn't have one. Where this is, I don't know. It's gonna be fucking.
Yeah, I played in that. I played in that myself.
40 years ago, something like that. Maybe he was like 6, 7 years old. And he scored like 15 goals one game, right? And so
went into the wrong spot. Is that what you're telling me?
Even he gets it, but it was just kicking the ball by people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was creative too. He was an athlete. You know what I mean? Obviously, right? So then he says, "Okay, this is getting a little ridiculous." So now he starts setting up all his cousins who live in Swansea to score a lot of goals too, like going by everybody, just leaving it for him, and then. A petition of parents.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on.
Gotta love those.
You gotta love those, right? Led by my aunt, kicked him out of the league.
That's fantastic.
Because he led by my aunt. Yeah.
So I mean, my little one plays too.
Yeah.
And it's like it's 4 and 5-year-olds. So you got some 5-year-olds that are like light years ahead of the other kids. Actually, Timmy Cabral goes to Mesa all the time.
Yeah.
His kid.
Yeah,
I mean, he must have scored about 8 goals in like 5 minutes.
Really?
But I'm looking at like the other coach, and it's just like, all right, can we? It's 85-0. Can we take that kid out? Maybe the kid needs a breather. Get him some Gatorade or something. Like, nope, he stayed in the entire game.
Yeah,
I think he potted about 12. He probably put in about 15 himself. Then.
Yeah. At that age, you got to pull the plug. I mean, you really gotta. You really got to like to say, okay, listen, you're going to play half the game. And you don't want to discourage the kid, but you want to beat the other kids up either.
So,
I mean, you want to, that's what the travel league that you talked about your son is for.
Yep. That's when you get to that level, then stop them, right? Yeah. But my kid potted about 5 of them in a half.
Yeah, playing in a house league, you don't need to score 12, 14 goals.
Yeah, so Brett scored 5.5. And then the next game, he played goalie first half, came out, lost 6-5. He scored all 5 goals in the second half.
Really? Nice.
In the next game.
This is early in the morning.
Yes.
Off Meridian Street.
Sylvia.
Still?
Yep.
Wow.
Sylvia School. Yep. So
the place still packed?
Oh, yeah. Mobbed.
It's like 2,000 people in there.
Mobbed. They do a pretty good job of shuffling people in and out of there, all things considered.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, but the next game, the coach looked and the players were, they only had 6 players, supposed to have 7. They were all very young, small. So he put him in goal for the whole game.
Yeah.
I was fine with it, Like,
cool,
I don't need him putting up 20.
Yeah, the coaches have to be able to see through the trees and get it. Some do, most don't. Certainly. But speaking of soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo again proving his value
Banger.
to Man U in the 90th minute?
And the 91st, I think.
91st minute, so extra time, right?
Yep.
Okay, he ties up and they're playing. I thought it said Atlanta.
And that's what my kid calls him, Atlanta. I'm like, it's Atalanta.
Atlanta. I had to look at it twice. I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
Where are they from? Greece?
Atlanta? No, Italy.
Italy.
Yeah, but I thought you meant in Italy. In Italy, I have no idea, but it's in
Italy, huh?
Yeah, they've been competitive for a while now.
Sure. Because it's not the first time that I've seen them. But Man U was struggling, I guess, right?
So they had a good win this weekend against Tottenham 3-0 on the road, but before that, yeah, they're struggling. And even in this game, you can tell that they're just not. They're not there.
Well, let me throw it back at you. That's Saturdays, right? So are you watching a Premier League game of the week, or are you watching a college football game?
Premier League.
Premier League all day long. I hear you.
I mean, they do usually so Michigan was on at 12.
Yeah.
And the United game was on at 12. I think around at the same time.
Yeah.
And I was flipping over.
Back and forth.
Yeah,
that Michigan was an amazing game.
So I didn't even watch the end of it.
Amazing.
When I saw the final score, I didn't believe it.
Down 17. Yeah, that running back. I mean, I don't know if he's going to get the Highland, but he surely made a case for it.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention because it was a blow. I was like, all right, I don't have to keep checking in.
Yeah, no, he did it. So interesting. And it's funny, like, I was surprised that they didn't make Ronaldo captain of Man U, but they say the soccer culture is a little different, right?
It is. I don't. He was never even the captain at Real Madrid because he was there with Ramos, and Ramos always had it.
Yeah.
So all right. So like, let's say like, I don't know, like Gretzky comes over to the Bruins. They're not going to just say, "Hey, Ray Bork, like, here, give me that C." I don't know.
American sports.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
They'd have to clear it with that because you don't want to piss him off. And if he's going to come in and be like, "Oh, I demand to be the captain," I mean, that's some bullshit right there too.
You don't definitely want to come in and be the captain, but usually an athlete of that stature he's bequeathed it.
Yeah,
like LeBron comes in, he's getting his number.
Well, there you go. Hold on. There's your first problem right there. Yeah, he would demand it. Actually, there you go. There's the guy that would demand it.
No, Michael. I don't know why he's saying that. Because he's always been a good teammate, but I don't want to get bogged down in LeBron.
Oh, we will.
But if Michael Jordan goes there, he's going to get it. If Derek Jeter went to someplace else to play, I mean, I don't know. But
it all depends on who's there, right?
I get the soccer, but how many people are above them? I mean, there are certain, like, nobody in the world has the stature of Ronaldo and Messi for their team. Like when Messi went to lie down at that penalty kick, the captain of his team yelled at him and said, "What's wrong with you? You're better than that. Get up."
I just think that, in some sports, it doesn't matter, right? Like I think like hockey, it matters. Soccer, it matters. Most sports, like, I remember Veritek they put the C on his jersey. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
But it matters in soccer.
It matters in soccer. Well, I mean, ultimately, I don't know if it matters if you win or lose or anything like that. Sure. But it is publicized. Like they do care in the press and the fans care who it is.
And they count how many games he's been a captain. That's like a credit to them, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because he's won.
I mean, it's nothing that like. I couldn't give you an answer on who the most captain player. I don't know the stat, and I'm pretty good with that.
But if somebody said, I won the captain's band for, 119 Premier League games, that's a tremendous accomplishment.
I would think so, yeah. Sure, absolutely.
But they do take it seriously. But I'm going to tell you what. They need to start taking it seriously because it should mean something. Because that is the bridge from coach to player to locker room, right? And
so who is Smart, the captain of the Celtics right now?
You read my transition right now. I believe that he is. I'm not too sure. Can we look that up?
Well, I think on opening night, he's the one who talked in front of the crowd. So I think usually that responsibility was held for
Does he have a C on his shirt, on his jersey?
See, I don't think so. I don't think, it would look weird. I don't want a C on a baseball shirt or a basketball shirt.
To our listeners up there? Is Marcus Smart the official captain of the Boston Celtics? Marcus, Marcus, Smart, as in Maxwell Smart. Yeah. Now, it certainly should be. Big problems in the land of the green.
I actually watched a lot of that game last night.
I stopped watching because they were blowing them out. And, hold on, And I bet on them. Why? I don't know.
I did too.
But I said it's a big game for them at home. They'll be ready. I thought they matched up well with Chicago. Okay. Now, this is the deal. I shut the game off when the score was 102 to 85 at the end of the third quarter.
All right. Now, it's funny you say because I bet the Celtics to win on the money line, but I also hedged the Bulls on a teaser at 9 because I was like, they're not going to blow this team out, right?
Sure, yeah.
So the reason why I didn't stop watching is because I was hoping the Bulls would come back and get that 9.
Jeez, yeah.
I was, being a little selfish.
Both of it, yeah.
Sure. But then, all of a sudden,
try to middle it and win both sides.
All of a sudden, it's 9. All of a sudden, it's 8-7, and then next thing you know, they're up by 1, and then I don't know, 33-9, I think, in the fourth quarter.
Well, 33-9.
That's pathetic.
They go 102 to 85 with seconds left in the third quarter to lose 128-114 in one of the worst regular season losses in Boston Celtics history. Don't call me dramatic. Don't call me a shit steer.
No, this is a problem.
I have been telling you for this whole season that this team is insanely dysfunctional, okay? They have a playground mentality. You shoot, I'll shoot. You shoot 2, I'll shoot 2. If you make 1, you can shoot the next one. Everybody, blah, blah, blah. It's nuts, okay? They have poor leadership. They're poorly coached. Poor shot selection. They got a playground attitude. They don't have any type of leadership whatsoever, okay? And I'm starting to think, that bright young star that we kept hearing, he's only this, he's only that, he's going to grow, he's going to mature. I'm starting to think that Jayson Tatum does not have the leadership gene in his DNA. I don't think he's a type A personality. I think he's a type B personality. I don't think he has it in his soul and in his internal body chemistry to lead. Is he a 1 in a million talent? Without question. Is he a top 5 most talented guys in the National Football League? With question. But is he going to produce and show it? Okay? Talent and production very rarely meets in sports at the crossroads. Very, very rarely does that mesh together. It did with Tom Brady. It did with Michael Jordan. It does with Aaron Rodgers. It did with Manny Ramirez and Pedro Martinez and all of it, Bobby Orr and Ray Bork and all of it when it comes together. But it doesn't happen often, okay? And I'm tired about hearing about how talented this kid is. I'm tired of hearing about how he can score at all 3 levels. I'm tired of hearing about the future. I want to see it in the box score, and more importantly, in the win-loss column. For all the adjectives that we've heard about Jayson Tatum, has any national pundit or any talking head said Jayson Tatum is a stone-cold winner?
Yeah.
The answer is no. The word winner, it's not used with Jayson Tatum. And for some reason, he had been. But you heard words like talented and long and gifted and his skill set. And he's a 5-tool player and he can score at all 3 levels. And the future is his.
But he doesn't do it in the fourth quarter when that defense clamps down on him. He settles for that fadeaway fourth. Like he thinks,
shot selection.
I know Kobe was like his idol growing up. And I feel like he just wants to he wants to be him. He wants to shoot the fadeaway. He wants to do, but
But Kobe would attack the rim ideally until he realized that.
Exactly, and he's just settling for that, though. Yeah. How many times have you seen him when they got the last shot? He dribbles it. He's behind the 3-point line. He just chucks it up there, and it hits off the back rim. It happens all the time.
This is a problem, and I don't know how it's going to get fixed. And listen. You got to be very, very careful of trading talent similar to Jayson Tatum because it really is a once in a lifetime.
That league has become it's a players' league,
sure,
right? So can you trade it? talent like that? Because you can't, in basketball, you can't get talent for talent in trades. It just almost never works.
No.
It never works.
What's Brandon saying up there?
Something between Brown.
Awful, yes.
It's either Brown and Tatum or Smart and the two of them, right? It's either Brown and Tatum versus Smart, or it's Brown versus Tatum. Because I know Smart and Brown have had issues. Even in the huddles, you've seen it.
Smart and Brown, they went at it in the locker room.
So is it Tatum and Brown?
They went at it in a bubble.
And Smart said after the game last night, he said, those two guys know we're going to try and get them the ball. They have to pass the ball in the fourth quarter when it matters.
Okay.
So is it Brown and Tatum versus Smart?
But is Marcus Smart the right guy to be talking? Because we got his 3 point. He's shooting many threes too. We have that paper. I'm gonna go get it right now. Just to get his.
Yeah, no problem. I know. Smart was basically.
I'm not sure if Marcus Smart is that guy, because I think his shot selection sucks too.
But the problem,
I'm a huge Marcus Smart fan.
Yeah, but the problem with this team is that they have no cojones, right? No balls. No one steps up when they need it. And I think Marcus just tries to do that, but he can't do it. But he tries to do it because no one else is willing. No one else is willing to take that role on. And so I think he just says, you know what, I'll do it. And for better for worse, right? Because I know he can't do it, but at least he's willing to do it. So in a ballless team, you want to trade the one guy who has balls on it? I don't know.
No, but they might have to.
Yeah, and that's the problem with that sport,
especially after. Okay, we got Brown shooting threes at a clip of 37.8. I'll take that any day of the week. Okay, we got Schroeder shooting at 37.5. Even though I think he's lost a step. Okay, very telling when
looks like the angry gremlin, by the way.
Yeah, looks like he lost a step. Now, you had Jayson Tatum shooting at 27.1, Marcus Smart shooting at 28.2. Not good enough. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about Tatum settling 4 threes late in the game. And I don't know what the analytics say. I know that. I'm not sure if is there an analytic component to hockey yet?
So
they're developing one for basketball.
So I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, but I actually watched a documentary last night on that soccer team, Brentford in England, that has turned this around, and now they're in the Premier League, and I think they're top half of the table, and they use analytics. They use analytics in soccer, which I was like,
how though? What is like?
They didn't really get into the depth, right? They didn't really get into the detail of what it is they look for. Maybe they don't want to give away the giant secret, but they hired some guy from Iceland who wrote a book on kind of like the Bill James thing.
James, sure.
And for whatever, it's working.
Yeah,
it's working.
I hear you.
So with basketball. I mean, they do the on the court, right? Plus minus.
I think there should be a piece of that.
I think the plus minus is part of that. But
that is an analytic. But Rick Pitino told me, right, one time, and what his philosophy was. Rick Pitino spent a lot of time in Florida, recruited me. I used to see him at 5-star basketball camp and on the road when I was a kid playing ball. And I knew he had coached at BU. He had coached, Leo Papillo was one of his assistant coaches who coached BABC.
Was he at Providence at the time?
He had left Providence at the time, but I got to know him from Providence. They were the first analytics ever put at me, and I mentioned this yesterday. He said, okay, let's break it down. You shoot 40, you take 10 shots. You shoot 40% from the field, right? You end up with,
that was my doing math face right there. If you caught me on camera.
40% from the field, okay? So that's 4 out of 10. You're going to score 8 points. If you're going to take 10 3-pointers and you shoot 30%, not 40% like this, you shoot 30% and you go 3 for 10 for 3, you end up with 9 points.
Sure.
So that was like the base of this thing. You know what I mean? But I'm not sure. Now,
what about the guy you're guarding? Right? Subtract that. If he puts up, points like I know they do. I know they do stuff like that. I know, right?
They've taken it to another level. Matter of fact, where analysts went wrong, I was watching the Ole Miss football game, and Lane Kiffin was down 6, 8, 9 points and kept going for 4th and 4s, 4th and 5 in the red zone and didn't make it. I'm like, hey, listen, man, you got a couple of wide receivers that are banged up. You're not getting the end zone. You're having to work a little harder. You're on the road at Auburn. You might want to keep the field goal. So, analytics is a part of life in sports, and it's never going to go away. How
it's only going to get more and more.
How it's used and how it's moderated. Like, what's more important? A coach that uses the analytics, the right analytic 100% of the time, or the coach that can control his locker room, or the coach that can create a culture of winning, or the coach that has unbelievable communication skills, or a coach that runs the best practices and most organized type practices.
I think give me in the regular season, give me the analytics guy, right? Regular season, you've seen the Oakland A's, we've seen the Rays do it, we've seen these teams
Longer seasons, I think it projects a little more. So.
Yeah, that too. But in the playoffs, I don't think it works as well as the old school way of doing things.
Yeah,
having a feeling for something, right? Knowing a guy that is a big time clutch performer versus like his numbers in the regular season, and you don't put him in the playoffs, even though he produces better there.
If I don't like a guy's body language before a game, and the analytics says I should pinch hit him, but I don't like him. I don't know.
I guess there's what it's going to come down to is you're going to have to use the analytics. But also rely on your intuition.
Your intuitive instinct, right? It's not something that you get from a box of Cracker Jacks, right? Talking about
fortune cookie.
Or a fortune cookie. It's from years of experience, right, Rob? Like when you hear a golden voice, right? Whether it's on American Idol or you hear somebody singing at the beach or singing in a car, does your head whip around and say, wow, that's talent right there, right?
Yeah.
This intuitive instinct that you develop and you build and build and build is from years of being around the game.
I agree.
I mean, you just don't pull it out of the air.
Nope.
So that has to come for something too. And knowing players in situations and how they're going to respond. How is this pitcher going to respond if I take him out maybe? Like if I pull him out and don't let him finish the inning.
Well, what I think it's done is it's given the teams, the A's, the Rays, the smaller market teams that can't compete with the big money people. Sure. It's given them a life. It's given them an identity, and it's allowed them to.
It's winning in baseball.
Yeah, and it's allowed them to compete, and it's great for that.
You would be lucky if you saw one or two shifts a game. When I was a young kid, going to watch the baseball. Now you see him every batter, every time. It's amazing. But getting back to the Celtics here, right? Okay. Like I said, we've heard Tatum called a lot of things. Haven't heard him being called a winner yet. Okay? Jayson Tatum essentially has the Celtics hostage, right? But I talked to a couple of people that are very close to that organization today. I spent some time on the phone. What's going on? I was taking the temperature of what's happening there, okay? And I heard from a few people that they're hearing that Jayson Tatum doesn't plan on being a Celtic for the rest of his career.
Now he did
that he's looking to opt out of the Celtics in his next contract.
He is. I mean, I did hear the rumors about Bradley Beal coming in, and that would, I guess, him and Tatum are close.
They're both from St. Louis.
They're both from St. Louis. They're close.
Yeah, sure, that'd be great. I love Bradley Beal.
So that's the thing we're talking about, though.
If Tatum had a little more Bradley Beal or Dame Limit in him, if you had a little more killer.
All right, but here's the thing, right? You can't get rid of Tatum. He's got you by the balls.
Yeah, you can.
Because, but then, say goodbye to Bradley Beal then, right? Because he's not coming without Tatum.
Sure. But there's young superstars like Donovan Mitchell in Utah. But
they're not, you rarely see superstar for superstar trades in that league. They force their way to certain teams.
But you interrupt me there. I'm not saying this has to be a trade. But what you do is, if Tatum doesn't go with you, you don't have to necessarily trade him, but you have a boatload of money to sign two players.
Boston's not the biggest free agent.
Really? Well, somehow Kevin Garnett found his way here, right?
That was a trade.
Right?
It was a trade. And at first, he refused to come.
No, Jimmy, it wasn't a trade. He waived his trade. It was a trade, but he waived his trade clause for the Celtics.
After they made all the moves to get Ray Allen.
If you have a clever enough agent that says, do you want to be a Celtic and have your name live forever if you win a championship? Or do you want to stay with the Washington Wizards, the Utah Jazz,
I just think
the Denver Nuggets?
I think that's done. I think that Celtics, and I hate it, right? I can't stand it. And as a fan of Notre Dame football, that's done too, right?
Yeah.
walking through the tunnel, smacking the play
Well,
like
I
a
mean,
champion
don't you
thing.
think football's been done for a while? But
Well,
they're not having a bad year.
They're in the
this year.
playoffs. They've been in the
Okay.
playoffs,
So
but
what's-
it's the
so-
aura
so
about
tell me-
sports.
So tell me why you think the Celtics are done.
So I don't think they're done. I'm saying I think the aura, like, so the name brand, right?
Sure.
Like those teams, I think in sports in general,
Sure.
like the Yankees can pay you, right? So people are always going to want to go to the Yankees because
Yeah.
they can pay you
And the
more than
Celtics
any
can
other
pay you
team.
too.
But the Celtics can pay you just the same as a Miami, a Los Angeles,
Sure.
and a warm. I think players prefer
And
the market.
States have
State taxes. The
State taxes.
nightlife in Boston is not. You can't compete with the Chicago's, the New Yorks, the LA's, Miami's.
But what you can be, and what Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett realized, one championship, and you'll live in immortality.
Sure,
It's like-
but you got to
and
have those
it's-
pieces set.
It's different. No, that's where your agent comes in and says, okay, do you want to make money for the rest of your life? Do you want to be different than a player who has the same stats, same all-star appearances, same wins, everything? Do you want to separate yourself? Because if you're a Laker...
Now, I agree with what you're saying.
You're a Celtic. You're a Knick. Okay? Even a Knicks.
Even the Knicks haven't been a primetime place for players to go. They've been turned down about.
That's the greatest city in the world.
They,
you know what I mean? But they started winning, and you saw the free agent infusion that they've had this year.
So I agree with what you're saying. However, I think you're going to get that player on the back nine versus the front nine, right? You're not going to get the free agent that's on the front nine going into his prime. I think you're going to get the guy that like wants to win a championship. If the pieces are set, then he'll settle and come to a place like that.
Like this is where your agent becomes very valuable, right? This is where your agent becomes very valuable.
Okay.
Do you want to put a shirt on that means something every night you put it on?
For me, yeah.
Do you want to put a shirt on where the name on the front of the jersey is 10 times more important than the name on the back? Because you're not going to get that in Houston. With the best nightlife around. You're not going to get that in Atlanta yet. You're not going to get it in Minnesota. You're not going to get it in Memphis.
All right, let me ask you a question.
You're not going to get it in those places. If you want to play in a special environment, it has to be sold. Now, here's the problems, and this is why your argument has merit. Boston, unfairly, to this day, is viewed by many African Americans as a racist city.
That's another thing, too.
But we have a mayor who is a female African American in Boston. Boston is not the Boston of our youth anymore. Those salty rats and those Charlestown cats, they're gone.
Let me.
They're all in the South Shore. They're all up in Northern. They're gone. There's one white neighborhood and maybe a couple. Savin Hill, West Roxbury.
I was going to say
There's
Boston
very
is the most unsegregated city. Like there is. Like you can drive to Boston. You got to go to the bathroom or you're going to a Celtics game. You can take any exit you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Go pull off the exit, use the bathroom. You're not scared for your life.
Well,
You do that going to a Dolphins game down in Florida or Memphis game or something like that. Like, you just can't go.
Well, we'll talk about. Blue Hill Ave. I don't recommend you getting out of the car.
Well, I'm not saying make a thing out of it, but I'm saying, for a brief moment.
But, you're right. But there are dangerous. There are dangerous Boston, but not as much. And you're right. Now, here's the deal, right? Boston has become, because of its colleges and its tech industry and its medical industry, it's become an international city. Okay? You see all races, all
Full of
types,
nerds,
everywhere.
though.
Now,
The
listen,
nightlife stinks.
the signs. I think that. I always like Providence nightlife. I like Providence nightlife and restaurants over it. So I hear you. If you got some young kid, young dumb, full of cum kid who has lots of energy to burn, we can't give you South Beach. Okay, we cannot give you what's face. But I'll tell you what, we can give your kid great schools. Okay, we can give your wife a job market that's going to fit whatever she's qualified to do. Okay?
Wives ain't working.
You can have a quality of life. Some of them are progressive.
Let me ask you a question, though. Let's just throw a name out of a hat.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, because you said him before.
Yeah.
Let's say Boston has the money to sign him, and Phoenix, right, has the money to sign him.
Yeah. If I'm his agent, I'm saying to you.
But what's he picking?
Well, depends.
And I feel like, Phoenix is probably a little bit ahead of the Celtics, but they're similar.
I've been on a lot of recruiting trips. I coached AAU at the high level. I had a lot of friends of mine that were big time college things. I've been on a lot of recruiting visits. There is always a decision maker that has the most influence on the athlete. It could be a grandmother.
And it was like that with Kyrie for a hot minute, right? Because his father went to, and all that stuff, and then he was gone.
We're talking about getting Kyrie back in Boston, by the way. It broke today. I hear you.
Hey.
That'll be a soap opera. Hold on. So there's always somebody that fences.
Come back, Kyrie.
Could be a guy like Maverick Carter with LeBron. It could be a guy like, Carmelo's wife, Lala. Why do you end up in, you know what I mean?
She don't want to come here, right?
There's always an influencer. So it's contingent on the playing development team. Like what we did to try to get Kevin Durant was amazing.
Yeah, but except for the fact they rolled out Kelly Olynyk on the trip. Do you know that?
Well,
it was Big Papi, Brady.
Yeah.
And Kelly Olynyk was there.
Yeah.
Give me a. What are you doing here?
He's on the team.
Yes.
He's on the team. But what they did to get Tom Brady to take time out of his day to Big Papi, that's an unbelievable thing. That's Danny Ainge being creative because that's what it's going to be.
And where'd that get him? Where'd that get him? They sold him on the Aura of Boston. Where'd they get him?
Let me finish. Okay, so you know something? The Celtics should sell their fucking franchise and move, right? The most historic franchise in all of the NBA. Right? But because Jimmy says nobody's going to play him anymore, we're just going to pack it up and forget it and quit.
I never said never.
It doesn't work the way. What I'm saying is this. If it's the Phoenix Suns and the Boston Celtics, and I'm on Tellem, right?
Yep.
Or I'm David Falk, okay? And I'm a big time agent, okay? I'm Maverick Carter. I'm saying, okay. Name me 5 Phoenix Suns.
Paul Westball, Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Thunder Dan, guys all time in what do you call it? NBA Jam, guy didn't miss.
Sure.
Sabalos, Oliver Miller.
How many titles do they have?
Goose.
How much history do they have?
None.
How much legacy?
That's my point, though. Like,
wait.
They got beaches, girls.
No, I don't have any beaches in the desert, brother. They got pools.
They got pools. Nice
okay.
Pools.
But, all right, so you were the Boston Celtics. Bill Russell, Larry Bird, John Havlicek, Red Auerbach, Kevin McHale, 19 world championships, okay? Go and get that next one. Because once you are a Celtic or a Laker, you separate yourself from the pack.
Can I finish by saying one thing?
You said a lot of this.
Your boy Patino said it best.
Yeah, they ain't walking through that door.
Exactly.
But they've won a championship since. And they could have won 3.
Oh, they should have. Yeah, they should have.
They could have won 3. But you don't think it helps having Kendrick Perkins on ESPN every day saying Boston is an amazing place to play? You don't think it helps with Paul Pierce going into the Hall of Fame? You don't think it helps with
Garnett
with Kevin Garnett? Maybe it's time to get those people more involved. You know what I mean? Because you can get them in Boston.
I agree. It takes something like that, though. You got to be creative, like you said, though. I think it takes something like that. It takes a Garnett, like it takes like an older brother, so to speak, or that person to like kind of take him under his wing and be like, oh no, trust me.
And this is another variable that we're talking about, right? Many of our star players in the NBA are coming from former Eastern Bloc countries, right? They're white.
Yep.
They are Western European, right? Okay. And they're coming from.
You can sell them on the Aura, I think, maybe.
Well, you can sell them on Boston because of the history, because of the culture, because of the rabid fan base. You go like Kendrick Perkins said the other day. I've been talking to people from Edmonton. You go on the road to any arena on the NBA, and you're going to see Celtics fans everywhere.
We used to go to Miami when I was living in West Palm. We'd go to the Miami games all the time. It'd be.
Yeah.
I don't know, 50, 60% settled.
Yeah, of course. So I do think there's a little history there, but I think you're right. I think the no-tax state attracts them. I think this is what they call brown towns. Brown towns are predominantly black towns who have black police officers, black teachers, black clerks, where society is predominantly African-American at every economic level, okay? From the top to the brown towns, Baltimore, brown town, D.C., brown town, Atlanta, brown town, Houston, brown town, New York City, yeah, I would say so. L.A., yeah, you know what I mean? Chicago, you know what I mean? But there are places where black culture and the epicenter of that, it's important for a lot of these young athletes that they want to raise themselves around people like who African American doctors and professors and scientists and all of that, and you can find that. I mean, you can find that in certain places, in certain metropolitan areas in this community, and that's important. But if you look at the hospitals, if you look at the education level, if you look at the quality of life, if you look at the change of seasons, and most importantly, you look at the history, I do think that you can sell it. But I think the Celtics are in a bad way. And another thing is
something's not right.
This young coach.
Oh yeah, he looks lost. He looks lost.
What did Brandon say?
Dragon Bender.
What's that?
He's that kid that I think he was like second or third overall.
Basketball.
Yeah, one of the Eastern European kids that just fell flat in his face. Like who's like Darko?
Yeah,
Darko Milicic.
Yeah.
Imagine the Pistons would have drafted Carmelo Anthony back then instead of him. My God, Joe Dumas.
So we got so the Celtics, and here's another thing about the Celtics. So they don't have a true point guard, and it's very difficult to play without a true point guard. I don't consider Marcus Smart or Schrader a true point guard's point guard. Point guards are born.
So do you think that Rondo would have been a good fit for this team?
Absolutely,
right?
But he ain't coming here.
You don't think he wants to come back? He went back to the Lakers, right?
Yeah, I think that Rondo wants to be like knocking on the door of a championship to play again. Because ultimately, that's what's going to get him in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
I don't think he's there.
I love him. You don't think he's there?
I love Rondo's game.
If they look at this, I was heard tonight with today, his playoffs.
Basketball is weird.
His
how they
playoff stats are there.
You know Dino Roger is in the Basketball Hall of Fame?
What for international?
They encapsulate everything. College, you know what you did
high school,
and all that stuff. Yeah.
Bobby Hurley, who coached at St. Anthony's, okay, his father is in a basketball Hall of Fame.
And he's coaching. Is he coaching or is his brother's coaching somewhere?
No.
I know they made a run.
Bobby coaches Arizona State. The younger brother Danny coaches at UConn.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. It is much different with the international and everything like that. But like, and another thing, I'm not feeling this coach. I don't think a young guy can coach this team. I think coaching this team is difficult. Ask Danny Ainge. Ask Brad Stevens. You got mercurial superstars. You got your best player who, wants to shoot 30-footers and it doesn't love the contact or the grip.
Do you think Brad comes down from the stairs and
I'm not sure what they're going to do.
Because this guy legit looks lost.
I don't like the fact that he called them punks after game 2.
I didn't see that, but I mean that can't be good.
Yeah, I mean that's not a word that you use the second week of the season.
But him saying that, right, just kind of it shows that the culture in that locker room, something's off.
Yeah.
If you're going that far after 2 games.
How about Mike Krzyzewski on tape calling Jayson Tatum soft as puppy shit?
I didn't see that one either.
Oh yeah, there's tape of that going around. Supposedly they took it off YouTube.
It's not good. I'll tell you, it's not good what's happening right now.
It's not. And let me tell you something. I saw this. Like you see it in soccer. Probably you see soccer probably much different than I do. I see basketball, at a level, very, very high level, okay? It defines it's what I do, what my family does. I watch it. As from a basketball fan, my eye test, they do not pass, okay? They are dysfunctional from the top to the bottom. And that's why you may want to pull a trigger on a trade earlier while you still could get max value. And when I got
it's one of those things where you see the team like the first 3 quarters, they look fluent, they play together, and they play well. But in the fourth quarter, all of a sudden they start running like an option offense where they're like handing the ball off, running around, they're throwing options. Like everybody's trying to play hero ball, and they just forgot what they did the first 3 quarters.
They are reckless. They don't value possessions, and in the fourth quarter, that's when the defense is tightened up. Now that's winning
fourth
time.
Quarter playoffs. Yep.
So that's when you gotta put your head down and get your ass to the rim and get your ass to the foul line and get people into foul trouble, okay? Because now if we get them in a bonus with 6 or 7 minutes of the game, now they can't D you up like they want to.
Another thing about Tatum too, like every time he misses a shot or every time, and he doesn't get a lot of calls. I'll grant him that.
Yeah,
he does give us, but you're never going to get those calls when you're doing that every time.
No, you get that reputation. And the NBA has a whole philosophy structure on offensive stuff.
I like it this year.
Yeah,
I actually watched some basketball this year.
Do you know something? that they did a study on the first like 7 or 8 games, and the under is coming home at 67%.
Why are you telling me this now? Why didn't you tell me this weeks ago?
They said that the line, that Vegas and the casinos and the odds makers haven't adjusted appropriately yet. They said they will.
Yeah, of course they will. Yeah,
they said they will, but 67% of the games were going on the under, and you have superstars like Harden and Tatum and Trey Rounds. Not necessarily
Tatum,
but complaining about the contact.
But Harden was having some trouble at the beginning of the year.
He was, and so was Trey Young, and so were others. But I mean, how many team meetings can you have? How many come to Jesus moments can you have? I mean, like, eventually it's time to do the do, right?
Did you watch a football game last night?
Yeah, I did.
So Mahomes at the beginning of the game, we've realized, and this is like the 3rd week in a row I've heard him say this, we've realized that we got to go back to the grind and that the playoffs aren't, we take things for granted. It speaks to what you're saying. How many team meetings? How many times can you come out with the bullshit saying, we got to get back to, to grinding it out and we're going to put the hard work in and we're going to do this. You don't see the results pay out. Your team's not good enough.
And the words, the more you use them, the more hollow they become.
Exactly. Like Dan Campbell, I remember like he was crying a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago. Yeah. And now like the week after that, he's got like all the press conferences now are like everybody's showing him and all that stuff. It's just like, okay, buddy. I don't want to hear.
Crying?
He's not crying, but it's like a different kind of thing. It's just, I haven't seen the results yet. The crying didn't work. Okay, go back to the drawing board. You're getting your ass kicked.
I hate to quote Joe Paterno, but act like you've been there before, right?
Yeah, agreed.
That's what you learn to do. And this coach, like, listen, I want the young African American man to succeed. I think we need more balance and thing, but this is not the right guy to be coaching this team. Okay,
it doesn't look that way so far.
This team needs a coach who's going to walk in there, okay, eating a donut with a Dunkin' Donuts coffee and be like, Jayson, we got a problem with your shot selection.
They need they need someone with a name, with some respect, like either a former player or an older coach that can come in and shake, just give it to him.
Someone who's going to tell young people the truth, because these people, because of the AAU culture, they have never played a game and because of the prep school and AAU culture, they have never played a game of emotional consequence.
And they've always been sought after, these guys,
of course,
right? And even all the colleges, and they're drooling over them. So when you get to the pros, all of a sudden, that's just going to switch off.
I told Birdie the other night, watch the game, I said, listen, Birdie, all these kids know one another. I was on that circuit. My nephew's AAU team, the players, New England players, was part of that Adidas indictment where all these coaches got in trouble. But they beat Zion's team by 35 points. And John Morant's team by 35 points in an AAU game in South Carolina. Okay? All these kids know one another. They play against each other at the same tournaments. Well, if you're an Adidas guy, you play against all the Adidas guys. If you're a Nike guy, you play with all the Nike guys. But you're seeing these people at all these tournaments since 6th, 7th grade.
And that's how they become friends. That's how they recruit later on. Blah, blah, blah.
And it's crazy. So, I mean, maybe it's time to think out of the box. Maybe it's time to... what do you do? I mean, do you trade Tatum and keep Brown? Do you trade Brown and keep Tatum? Do you trade Marcus Smart and keep them both? Do you?
That's the easiest solution out of all of it. Is to trade Smart.
Now let me ask you a question. If this guy has 5 wins and 15 losses. Like, when is the earliest you can fire this guy, the coach?
I mean, if I'm the general manager, if I'm Brad, I'm looking at it like, right now, something's wrong. And who knows these players and who knows that locker room better than Brad, right? So he's going to know if this guy has a handle on things or if it's the same thing happening or if it's gotten worse. He's going to know it. Yeah. So if he pulls this trigger quick, he'll know.
What if Brad is just a lame duck? A general manager because he's got 2 years left on his contract, and the Celtics ownership is too cheap to fire him and go hire somebody. Because Sam Presti, I believe, was available at Philly or whatever. I mean, Maybe Danny Ainge is laughing, saying,
I was just going to say, he knew something.
I mean, you can't win with these guys.
Yeah, he knew something.
And here's another problem. I don't think you have a natural born point guard. And what's his nickname again? Williams the third, the Time Lord. The Time Lord's not a traditional center. He's more like a power forward. You know what I mean? Enes Kanter apparently isn't interested in playing. He wants to start a third world war.
Love that guy.
I respect his political debates. I respect how he's woke and how he's conscious. But I'd like to take a peek of him on the court. We are paying him. I don't know what happened to Pritchard. He had a big summer.
He didn't even dress, huh, the other night?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can explain that kid not getting any playing time.
There is problems from the bottom of the roster to the top of the roster.
But what does that kid do to not deserve a playing time?
Right?
I think
even Neesmith was shooting the ball pretty well, and he hasn't seen a game.
I think he's a dirt dog. He's got a little Marcus Smart in him, a lot of it. He's intense. I think he moves the ball well. I think he's not afraid of the moment. I think he's a legitimate threat from three. He can get to the basket. But what does this kid deserve coming off a great rookie year to go backwards his sophomore year? I mean his second year. I don't know what it is. You know what that is? That's the coach saying, I don't think this little white boy can play.
And it's also, because it's not like he gave him the minutes from the beginning.
Black man, anything like that. I'm just saying, there are words that they talk about when they talk about, white guys. They say smart, they say heady, they say tough. They don't say athletic. They don't say explosive. They don't say, this or that or that. And why isn't Pritchard in the game? Pritchard, I watched the Summer League. He dominated the Summer League. He scored 76 points in a pro-am game in Seattle, so he was working. He wasn't pulling a Zion. He was working out all summer. Okay, I watched the preseason games. I thought he played well.
I don't think he's dogging it in practice, right? He's not that guy.
He's not that guy.
He's not that guy.
How come he's not there? I don't know. But the Celtics, and something like the girl on ESPN said today. Enough is enough talking about the future of the Celtics. They've been doing it for 4 years. They're off. Brown, Tatum, and Smart have been together for 5 years collectively. Okay, if it's broke, fix it. Do what you got to do. The fans and the history of the Celtics deserve better.
They've been talking about the future of the Celtics since they traded for those Brooklyn picks.
Sure.
It's been the future of the Celtics since then.
Sure. And you can survive with that, and that'll give you job security.
Now, when they got Kyrie, it's pause for a moment.
But when does the bill come due? For me, it came due this year.
Yeah, it's
last year. The bill,
I would say
the bill is due for me.
I would say last year for sure, because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before that. So last year was a giant disappointment. This year just looks like more of the same.
Give me some good news about the Bruins. Enough of running through the mud with the Celtics.
They had a moment where they didn't look too hot, had trouble scoring goals, but again,
they beat the undefeated Panthers at home in overtime, right?
So they lost to them in Florida first, and then they had a tough road game against Carolina on back-to-back nights, like two of the best teams in the NHL. Great to see this team has alligator blood. Like, they don't quit. Like, when you're ready to write this team off, they're like, oh, no, we'll show you.
Alligator blood, I like that.
They just always, cold-blooded, right? Yeah. Like, they just always, find a way to get it done. Like, they don't let the adversity get to them. They're like the opposite of the Celtics.
Sure.
Now,
they have extreme character.
Now, but they have their moments in the playoffs where
they
haven't been tough enough.
Got balls this big.
But they're not tough enough in the playoffs in the corners, and they have that top line, but the secondary scoring hasn't been there. The toughness hasn't been there, which is weird to say about a Bruins team, right? Yeah. Because the big bad Bruins, I mean, they need a little bit of that. So they got rid of a little bit of offense for some more grit this year. You might not see the results translate in the regular season, but when they get into the playoffs, that's when it's supposed to turn back on.
Sure.
Now, I still think they'll probably finish second or third in their division, either behind Tampa or Florida, or they could win the division outright, too. They're that good. But I see them finishing either second and third in the division, then we'll see come playoff time.
We'll see come playoff time. That seems to be a mantra of the Bruins, but I'll tell you what, at least they show up, and they bring their lunch bill, and they do it.
On a day-to-day basis in the regular season, I mean, that compared to that Celtics team, man, it's hard being a fan. It's hard watching that.
And I don't want to hear about the Bruins. The Bruins I'm more talented. They got more Hall of Famers on their roster right now than the Celtics. Than the Celtics, though.
Oh, hands down.
And
they got more players, but still, yeah.
Yeah, but you look at their two top shifts. Okay, you bring it down to the 12 of them. Okay,
I mean, like Bergeron is just like the ultimate athlete.
Sure.
Like he does everything for you. You know, everything.
Marchand's a grinded dirt dog.
Yeah,
he's gonna get it done for you.
Very underrated, by the way. Like his offense, the craziness gets lost in the shuffle. Like the kid's got talent after talent after talent.
But they bless him on ESPN all the time. I was watching how they talk about him. You know what I mean? And how Melrose and those guys talk about him. He's a guy that you want on your team.
I want to sing the song so bad right now.
World Series that nobody cares about. Okay, I saw this map about fans rooting, and even in Texas, they're rooting for Atlanta.
Outside of Houston,
outside of Houston, but every other state was blue for Braves, right? Now, are you paying attention to the World Series?
I've watched. I've watched it. I'm paying attention. I've seen kind of what's going on. I haven't watched every game.
Yeah.
But I've seen the moments. I've seen what's going on.
So you're watching like I've watched.
I've seen a few. Yeah.
Love to see what the ratings are. Can't be good. Now,
I think game one actually did all right.
Did they really?
I think so.
How are we gonna like? How long should the Astros carry this cheating albatross around for?
It's. You see it with the Patriots. They're never going to forget it. Every time they're in a big game,
but this was much more serious with the Patriots.
But every time they're in a big game, it's going to be brought up.
Right? I don't hear them bringing up that in the Patriots still.
No, but like when they get good again.
Well, even
like now,
even when Brady was here, I wasn't hearing.
From the national media, they love to poke fun. Like, I mean, they've shut everybody up, right? But there's still a few idiots out there that think that deflating footballs was why they were winning games.
Roger Goodell and his $68 million a year salary, unbelievable.
You know what though? I'm ready to give that guy a pass. He's just a mouthpiece for the owners. Those owners are just terrible, awful people, and I'm tired of like. So I've beaten up Goodell. I think he's a fraud, sure. But he's just acting on behalf of these owners. That's all he's doing.
And he's keeping the money ship going
and,
in the right direction.
And he's taken all the shrapnel. Not one person likes to single out a certain owner or the owners of the NFL. He takes all the shrapnel. Nobody does it better. Nobody's better at their job or taking shrapnel at their job than that man.
Thin skin now, throwing David Portnoy out of the Super Bowl. It's like
see that?
Make him more famous, you idiot! Right there you go.
Yeah, you could have just like squashed it. Yeah, but did you see what happened after that?
No.
Portnoy won. They did an auction where I think you could watch the Super Bowl or the draft. No, it was the Super Bowl. You could watch it in his Goodell's man room in his basement with him and sit on a recliner. Yeah, and Portnoy won the bid.
Really?
He won the bid, of course, but then they shot him down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep, they shot him down. So again, like you said, they'll make him more famous. You just put the bullets in his gun.
That's all right. Yeah, that's another 10 million views. Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is where we're at here. So World Series Game 6 tonight. Astros down 3-2. I like for them to tie the series and go to a Game 7, and then I will have my full attention. But let's face it, folks, we are living in a football world. Week 8 of the NFL, and my, oh my, did we have a lot of stuff going on. We had backup quarterbacks playing like they forgot who they were.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a backup guy beating Tom Brady in New Orleans.
It seems to happen every once in a while.
We had a Dallas Cowboy.
That was wild.
I'll lead his team on a last-minute drive and throw for over 300 yards at Minnesota. And then, of course, you had Mike White from the New York Jets. You let somebody bet on him to have the most, bet $1,000, have him have the most passing yards. The odds were 157-1, and the guy won $157,000.
Jesus.
Okay, so and
a terrible call in that game, though.
Throws for 400 yards. How do these backup quarterbacks, Jim, come into the game after getting no reps in practice? You got to be a special kind of animal.
White did,
yeah.
And I don't know what's going on in Dallas because. He didn't practice, so Cooper Rush did get the snaps, I think, the last couple of weeks. And they're coming off a bye week. Trevor Siemian is the one guy. He came out of nowhere. I think teams game plan so hard on one certain thing that when somebody comes in, they just kind of go to that vanilla base prevent defense.
Because you know what they call it in the industry? There's no book on them.
Exactly.
They do not know what his weaknesses is. And obviously they're getting snaps of work. I'm talking about, but if you look at the body of work, right? So there's 8 weeks in the regular season. You got preseason, you got training camp, you got all of it. This guy's probably getting 7% of the snaps through that body of work.
And so if the more tape on these guys, the more they'll stop, they'll turn into the pumpkin, so to speak.
But what a day. And let me ask you a question. What 3 unbelievable football talents are doing it? A backup quarterback does it for the Saints. It was the second home game that they've had there in 2 years.
Yep.
They beat the GOAT and Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champions. The guy White does it in an unbelievable comeback for the hapless Jets, right? Now, this guy's walking around as king of New York.
And you got the Bengals just turning into the Bengals again. It's like,
Bengals
come on.
Bengals
Although they got a raw deal on that call. I'll give them that. But that shouldn't have been a football game. You were up on that team twice.
Sure.
Big points.
And then you get the Dallas Cowboys going to Minnesota, right? Blah, blah. And this kid delivers. His parents are there. You're watching it. Like, how do you control the roller coaster of that? Like just like that, bang. You are the flavor of the day. You're trending on Twitter. You got 1 million new followers. Like you're on a Leader Sports Center. You're on the back of every newspaper.
First Take and all that garbage.
You go from, will the real Mike White please stand up, backup quarterback, blah, blah,
Is he a rookie? Where did this guy come from? I don't know where he went to school. I don't know what year he's in.
He went to...
he could be sitting in this chair right now talking with us. I wouldn't even know who it was.
He went to Western Kentucky. The kid from the Cowboys went to Western Michigan. And I don't know where...
Sense in a theme, yeah.
I'm not sure where the guy was.
Simeon, I used to know.
I believe White is from Western Kentucky. You got your phone on you, right? I got on there. I think he's from there, and I think the kid from Dallas is from Western Michigan. And where is the other one? Where is the other one from? I know we talked about it yesterday on the podcast for sure. But we got some questions. We got some questions to go through. Okay,
I'm ready.
we just
South Florida, Bull Country.
Oh, Mike White went from South. Yeah. And the other one,
5th round, 2018 draft.
And the other ones were from West Kentucky and Western Michigan. So talking about how do these backups do it in the big games? I mean, are they going to play? Like, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm in no hurry. I want Dak Prescott 90%.
That division's locked up. So
it is locked up.
As much as you want home field advantage, it's not as important having this guy healthy and ready in the playoff time.
So I think he may get some burn. I think the guy White's going to play because Wilson's still hurt in New York, I believe, right? Correct? And now you're the Saints, right?
I did hear something about Phillip Rivers said he would answer the phone call if Sean Payton called him.
I would call him
for what it's worth. Now I don't know how fast they put together a playbook.
They asked Drew Brees right on the air on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean,
and he said no. I mean, if I'm Drew Brees,
he's got to be salivating, right? He's got to be thinking about that.
The guys that did the podcast would say, no way, he's not going to do it. He's done.
They're tied for the division lead, right?
Exactly. The athlete in you and the competitor in you has to.
See, did Drew Brees have those? Did he have a pair when it comes down to he got some bad playoff losses at the end of his game that had nothing to do with him.
You got a lot of balls questioning.
I'm not questioning. I'm not questioning.
From your couch, okay?
Oh, no.
All right, you got a lot of.
Well, but that's what we do here. That's what we do. If I can't question people's balls here.
That's what you do.
Come on.
The guy's 5'10", playing in the NFL. What kind of balls you think he's got?
I'm not questioning, too. I said he got some raw deals in the playoffs, meaning the pass interference call, the Minnesota Miracle. That poor team had some horrible breaks, and that was not his fault. Having said that, if the game's outside, he stinks.
We saw some loss of arm strength, clearly, that we haven't seen in Brady yet.
I am lacing him. I'm putting him on. Yeah. I'm watching Winston go down. I might take the tie off right there.
What do you tell your wife and the kids? The kids will probably be psyched.
It depends on... there you go, right? His kids at his age...
The wives are going to fucking hate it. You know that.
Especially when you say, no, this is it.
Yeah, she's going to be wrestling with that.
All right, do you think she, You think that he goes to bed and she's just like, what's up? Like, what are you doing? Where's your head at?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Or, like, I don't know if it right. I don't want to, obviously I have no idea what their relationships is in general, but wouldn't it be great if it was just like, honey,
I'm going back.
No. I'm speaking from the wife here. Like,
course, yeah.
like, do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Do you want to go kick some ass? Like, go ahead and get up there.
This
is it. Yeah. But this is it, right? Like,
that Rocky moment at the hospital.
This is it. But this is it, right? Yeah. Like, so if you have, I don't want any no regrets, right? No regrets. So like you sit there and be like, I don't want to have to deal with that down the line. Lace them up. If you want to do it, I'm not going to stand in your way. That's how it should be, right?
He doesn't have
Flip
to.
side of that coin, that's what I'd be doing.
That's what you think the partnership would be, but you got to understand what spouses and children give up.
Oh, without a doubt. But you also don't want that guy, him loafing around the house that, next year, the year after that, or the coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Well, he's not because he's got a national TV job. So he's flying out on Thursday, just like he was an NFL player. He's going to the location.
But if he's got those juices flowing right now.
No, I hear you. I mean, listen, but that's a bug that they all got. But listen to me. The sports world is full of stories about horror show comeback that much more than successful comebacks. But because of the uniqueness of Drew Brees' situation and the uniqueness that they live,
and you don't know if he's been working out. Did he get fat? He looks pretty good on TV, but he's wearing a suit.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think his body's going to come to it. But I mean,
that would be something. Are they?
Are they? And you have to ask yourself: are you really good enough to get out of the NFC? And the answer is no. With Drew Brees or without.
And then you're getting Mike Thomas back soon.
Sure. The defense has been some bad boys.
They've been in the middle. I mean, if I'd put him a hell of a lot up there. If he comes back tomorrow, I don't know. That team might be good enough to win. Why not?
Yeah.
They've been there.
Taysom Hill, I love him, but it's not the answer.
No.
Not the answer.
Neither is Trevor Siemian.
Okay, question 2. Are the Patriots, are you buying the Patriots as a playoff team? I am.
I'm going to throw that Greta Thunberg thing, like, how dare you? Because I wanted to put them at number 7 in my power rankings the first time I was here a couple weeks back.
They don't belong first of all, you can
They're
put
getting there. They're getting there.
There is no censorship on this show whatsoever.
At the end,
he could put anything he wants in anything he wants in his
unless
top 10.
Unless I sing.
Yeah, unless we either one of us sing. So he can put whatever he wants in his top 10. I have just been following this team after the Tampa game, and don't get me wrong, Tampa Bay is my number 1 team this year. The Pats are number 2. Okay,
Rams.
I'm rooting. But I love what I see from Josh McDaniel and Mac Jones. I like the athleticism on defense. Okay,
that's the defense I've been waiting to see.
I see this team maturing, and I also said this, and I was dismissed. I'm not sure it was this podcast or the other one. Let me tell you a story about hitting the uprights against Tampa and letting Dallas off the hook. You know what I mean?
Miami as well. Fumbling the ball, walking into the end zone.
So you can, if some butts are candy nuts and every day be Christmas, but if you want to look at it analytically and you want to look at it intelligently, I mean, this team is better, has performed better than its 4-4 record right now.
Here's the thing that
so you're buying the Pats as a playoff team potentially.
Oh yeah. Especially with Derrick Henry going down and a lot of teams falling backwards. But for me, this team has not helped this kid out, whether they haven't blocked for him, whether it's guys dropping balls against the Cowboys, right? Aguilar, whether it's fumbles, walking into the end zone, running backs here and there, right? Even during the Bucs game. This team has not helped them, whether it's a defense needs to stop, right? The Saints and the Dolphins, same thing. Defense couldn't get the stop. You watch that game and you're like, it's 14-13, we're losing, and you're like, wow. Here we go again, right? This team should be doing this, right? They can't punch a ball in the goal line.
When Brady was quarterback, we won every game like that.
Yeah, but then Bourne fumbles, and you're like, oh, here we go again. But they finally rose to the occasion. Jones did, right? That last drive was money. The defense finally showed me something, like in that moment where we need to stop, get one for the kid. Yeah. They finally started doing that. If this team starts clicking, if this team can do that, they can play with anybody in the NFL.
They already shown that they can.
They already showed that, right? And as this team, if barring injuries and all that other stuff, they're going to get better every week.
I'm buying the Patriots. I'm buying the weapons they get on defense are working.
I think it's a weak AFC conference.
You see, that's the problem.
That too. I think it helps.
Right now ahead of them, you have Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, they stink.
No, they don't.
Oh, I can't.
They got an unbelievable.
I think the
defense.
Browns are tied with them.
The Browns are tied with them.
They come in, they stink too.
We're better than the Browns.
What are the Colts?
The Raiders are ahead of them.
Well, the Raiders are in first in that division. I think the Chargers are one game because we haven't had the bye yet.
Yeah. And who else is in that division? No, they got Kansas City in that division. Are they better than the Chiefs right now?
Man, I'd love to see them play that team. I think the Chiefs right now, I think they're better than them.
I think the Chiefs are dysfunctional.
Yeah,
and I think that they were lucky they played a bad football team.
I'm not going to ever count the Chiefs out with Mahomes. I'm not going to do that. But they just showing that they want to give these games away. They're showing it.
A lot of people, from Woody Hayes on Around the Horn to a lot of football people saying that Tampa defense that they played against him in the Super Bowl.
Put the playbook on, put the blueprint.
They put the blueprint.
Because Belichick had the blueprint for them.
Yeah, but is Mahomes ready to go? Like, this is the classic bend but don't break. Does he have the patience to make 8 or 9 completions?
Beautiful. That's the thing.
Not be a pig, right?
Amen.
Okay. Now, when you do that, can't have a bad penalty. The Chiefs have stupid team. Okay. You can't turn the ball over.
No.
Because now that's all that clock. And you can't fumble the ball, and you gotta put it in the end zone. Okay? And I just think that defensive system is so counter to Mahomes' personality and how he was successful. Anyways, getting it fast, big, long, and quick, that it's working against his strengths. And I think for that's the reason why it's effective.
Exactly. And you saw, I think, on the first, they marched down the field first drive. They get to the goal line. They put Kelsey. He goes into the quarterback spot. He takes the ball. Mahomes shifts behind him. He throws an around the back pass. I don't know if you saw this. He throws an around the back pass to Mahomes, who then tries to throw it. Just stop. Right? Stop.
Put the ball in the end zone.
Run your plays. Yeah. Right? Run your pick plays.
Yeah,
okay?
that play
run the goddamn football. Stop being cute.
That play was arrogant.
And they've been doing a lot more of this. Like, they've been doing a lot more. And I think it's different.
Kelsey doesn't look right to me.
He was awful last night.
Kelsey
he was awful last night. He didn't look good. I think Mahomes even underthrew Hill a few times last night too. He was wide open. He just underthrew him.
Malone didn't look good either. We'll talk about them. Did the Cowboys move up in your power rankings by going to Minnesota and winning with a backup quarterback?
So can they move up and move back at the same time? So I think this win shows that this team around, it's not all Dak Prescott, right? Yeah. So okay.
That's a big win for
So that's
defense.
A big win for the defense. It's a big win for the confidence of the rest of the team. Says, oh, you know what? We can do this, and it gives everybody that. Yeah. Now, you got coming off a bye week. Yeah. Prescott can't go. I heard it's the same foot that he had all the surgery on and all that stuff. Is he right? Will he be right?
Yeah.
That's the real problem moving forward for them. So I think the rest of the team, and if you can get a healthy Dak Prescott, the sky's the limit with this team. They're talented. They got talent all over. They will get McCarthy at some point. Okay. Yeah. But
everybody on BADCATZ SPORTS says that McCarthy is the worst coach in the NFL.
I wouldn't go that far. I
would. I can't. I mean, I've never been a fan of this guy. But hey, Jerry Jones is. And they're winning so far.
But I'd be worried about Prescott's injury if I was a Cowboy fan, for sure.
Big Ben's last ride. I said on the podcast Thursday night that Big Ben should go out in Cleveland the night before, walk into a restaurant, smell it, feel it, because he's never coming back this way again, right? I think he should get to the stadium early, walk around, run around, see the fans come in, go fuck with the dog pound. Like, the journey of his has been amazing for 19 years. I know you think it's a little corny, but every once in a while, Walt Disney will write the sports script. Every once in a while. And I just have a sneaky suspicion that these Steelers and him are yet to be done. I think they're going to have to be heard from. And I just hope that Big Ben, along the ride, smells the roses, and is fully aware of all of it that's happening around him, because it's never going to be the same again.
You got some weird love for guys I can't stand, like LeBron, Roethlisberger. I can't stand.
I just like LeBron as a human being.
I can't stand Roethlisberger,
and I like him as a basketball player because he gives up the basketball. But as far as the other stuff about LeBron, I mean, no, I don't.
I think Roethlisberger is cooked. I think that team stinks. I think they've benefited off of playing some limping dogs. The Buffalo win was great. But that wasn't a Roethlisberger game. He was awful in that game. That was a defense.
He was great in the second half.
Yeah, that was a defensive
bad in the
game.
first half. But they still won.
Yeah, they went 11-0 last year, and then the wheels just fell off.
Sure.
I don't think he's got the distance. I don't think he can go the distance.
Well, he's been playing for 19 years, and nobody does. That's
Don't say nobody. Tom Brady can do it.
No. I said nobody thinks he can go the distance.
Oh, I get you. I'm sorry. I thought you said nobody can. I was like, wait a minute.
No. Nobody thinks that Big Ben can go the distance.
I think he's been a great quarterback in the league. I'm not taking away anything from the guy's game. I think he's been great, but I just think he
stayed with the same franchise. I respect that.
Sure.
He's won 2 Super Bowls. That's one more than Aaron Rodgers, one more than Russell Wilson, one more than his contemporaries, right? Yep. One more than Drew Brees. Yep. There's got to be something to be said for that.
And then he was in the Rivers draft too, right?
Okay,
2 more than him.
Plays in a grounded-out, cold conference with no artificial turf, no domes, no something like that. I just think that every once in a while, the football gods smile on someone special, and I just have a sneaking feeling. That's why I want Big Ben. And listen, I've grown to like Big Ben. Bet a lot on the Steelers. I like the Steelers tradition. I like the terrible hanky. I like how they travel. I like Mike Tomlin. I like his realness. Okay, I just think that Big Ben, is gonna give us a few more memories before he packs it up.
I can't stand the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hate that team. I hate that franchise. I hate that coach. I hate that quarterback.
Sure. But the reality is they've won three games in a row, and they are alive and well, sitting at 5-2, I believe, right?
No.
What's the Pittsburgh record? If we can look that up, Rob.
I think they got 3 losses. Could be wrong.
Okay. Last question of the night before we wrap. Last question: are the Rams right for mortgaging the future for the now? And I'll tell you what, Jimmy, one thing we did agree upon is that meme that you put up. It's all about beating Brady or beating Rodgers.
Amen.
Right? And it is transparent. It's obvious. I don't even think anybody deny it. Okay? Nobody's going after any offensive help. You had Odell Beckham lingering to be had. You had a ton of guys that could have been had. It's all in the defensive end. It's all in the NFC. Okay? LA knows they're gonna win. They didn't have any future in draft picks before this trade, right? Just were like they just keep mortgaging and mortgaging and mortgaging. Is history gonna prove them correct? I mean, you have to win a Super Bowl to justify this, right?
You have to, because you're gonna be terrible in 5 years.
Is getting to a Super Bowl?
No.
But they play at home, right?
Is it in Los Angeles?
I believe it is.
Yeah. That'd be weird for 2 teams in a row because the Tampa thing last year.
I believe it is. Can we look up where the Super Bowl is this year, Rob?
Personally, I think the Rams are the best team in football. They definitely got a lot better. I think Von Miller's not the same guy as he used to be.
I think they're the most balanced team in football.
He's not going to see the coverages that he saw in Denver either because they got Aaron Donald. So now this guy's going to be flying off the edge by himself.
Raymond James Stadium.
No, that was last year.
That was last year, yeah.
Oh. Tampa.
Yeah, that was
last year.
It says 2021. So it's got to be 2020.
Yeah, that's only because
they have it like at the end, yeah.
SoFi Stadium.
That's the one, right? And that's in LA?
Yeah. Inglewood, California.
Inglewood, always up to no good, baby. You get the Super Bowl. Watch your walling around here. Talk about not taking a wrong turn. That's the place you don't want to take a wrong
True
turn
story.
into.
I don't know. I think the Rams are the best team in football. But
that doesn't mean they're going to get there.
Stafford is. We'll see when he gets there. He's playing great right now.
We'll see how well he sleeps before his first playoff game because it's been a long time.
His record against teams with winning records at the end of a season but coming into this year, all right? So not teams that had a winning record when they played them.
Yeah.
Teams that had a winning record at the end of the season when all is said and done was something along the lines of 7-65.
Yeah. Right
I
now,
know it's with the Lions. I get it.
Right now, he's a legit MVP candidate.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I
Without
mean?
a doubt.
He's showing everybody.
He might have even
he's
just
showing
moved
everybody
ahead.
what a good quarterback.
He might have moved ahead with Murray taking a whack. Brady took a hit this week. He might have jumped ahead.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
You know the last quarterback that won MVP to win a Super Bowl was, by the way?
Oh, to win a Super Bowl.
Yes, that last MVP to win a Super Bowl.
Kurt Warner.
Yep. 2000. That's a long time. And it was the Rams. It was a long time ago.
He should have won. I don't think they have to win a Super Bowl, but I think they got to get there. And it really has nothing to do with football because of the pretentious environment of LA and what it takes to get people into their thing.
Sure. And then when the Rams suck 5 years from now and the Chargers are good with Herbert, they'll all be switching hats anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that.
Making the Super Bowl is going to dominate the society pages and the newspapers because it's in their stadium, it's in LA, it's a big deal. And now, so they're going to be the trend of the month. They're going to be, everything's going to be about the Rams.
Exactly.
So they got to get to, because I think they're doing this to get to the Super Bowl because they know how important that'll be from a PR market. And what better way to open up a stadium and reward it with a Super Bowl and then have your team playing it. That's a way to do it.
I legit think they have like 60 or 65% of their cap is based on 5 players.
Sure.
And I know the Broncos are picking up a huge chunk of Von Miller's. That was part of the trade. But
they have like 2 draft picks, something like this.
They got nothing. They got no draft picks. They're going to run. They have no cap.
You can understand it though, right?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, if I'm a Rams fan right now, how could you be mad, right? Like your team's going all in. You're loving this right now.
Yeah.
Now,
and hopefully you can create enough culture where some of these underpaid new guys are going to have to fill the void here. Are going to walk into a squared away locker room with squared away leaders with recent championship history.
Sure.
You know, rising tide raises all boats.
My thing is, we know the Los Angeles sports scene, right? So, like, let's say they got 2 or 3 year window.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Herbert's right around the corner.
Sure.
You don't think they're going to be switching their hats when the Chargers get good?
But you know, sports life is cruel. Justin Herbert was on top of the mountain 4 weeks ago, and now everybody's asking what's wrong with him. Okay, surprise game of the week, and we're going to wrap up with this. I'm going to go with...
What do we got? Picking what team? An upset? An upset?
Not an upset. A game that you were surprised. You were surprised by. I'm gonna give it to you right. I'll give it to you right now. I'm gonna say the Jets comeback against the Bengals. Wasn't for me. I like the Patriots all week. I like the Titans all week. Eagles dropping 49 against the Lions, but yep, it is the Lions. Steelers win the game. Not many people thought they would win. You know, Green Bay
was a big one. Green Bay was a big one with nobody there.
If you have to go MVP right now, do you go Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady, Murray, or Rodgers?
Probably Stafford.
Really?
Probably Stafford.
I think I would go with Rodgers because of what he did against an undefeated team with his lack of his 3 receivers. I think that was a focus on him that I haven't seen much. You know, because let's face it, Brady's got weapons.
He's Mr. October.
Murray's got weapons, right? Stafford's got weapons.
Well, you saw Murray when Hopkins had a hamstring. Yeah. When he came out of the game, Murray all of a sudden he didn't really know to go with the football.
Hey, that bad man.
Yeah.
Mama, there goes that man. There goes the podcast. It's the Hurricane. It's my man Jimmy. It's how we do it every week. We'll see him again next Tuesday. How long do we punch him for, Rob?
1.5.
1.5 hours like this.
Sporting tomorrow. Let's go.
Who's Sporting playing? Who are they playing?
Sporting's playing Besiktas from Turkey in the Champions League.
Where are you watching this?
Probably at Mesa, 4 o'clock.
Really? 4 o'clock?
4 o'clock.
So
they haven't changed they changed the clock backs in Portugal, but they haven't done it here yet, obviously. So the games start at 4 o'clock now. I'm loving it. I'm on vacation this week. I'm ready to go tomorrow.
Oh, so you're going to be there. I may.
Let's go. But wear your green and white, though.
I may trickle down there.
Before we go, Jimmy, can we show everybody your? Hang on. I had something prepared. It's not working. Never mind. Never mind.
One more time.
Hey,
Give it to him, Rob.
I was gonna put a Steelers logo on his shirt, but
No. I'm dodging it.
Yeah, not gonna leave it.
it's not working. Look at this.
So who's
Damn.
Sporting playing?
Besiktas from Turkey.
Are they favored?
Sporting's favorite. Yeah, they played in Besiktas in Turkey last week and won 4-1. Didn't really play that great, I didn't think, but they should win. Besiktas has a lot of their players not playing, so this should
What's
be
the
a
goal
big
line?
victory.
What's the goal line on a game?
1.5. 1.5. They're minus 255 on the money line.
Really?
Yeah, I like the over because it's 2.5. You can get a 2.5 because both these teams are very poorly situated defensively a lot of times.
Really?
Sporting hasn't had a shutout in the Champions League, I think, in like 15,
So
16
over
games.
2.5 Sporting.
I think over 2.5 for the game.
Send
for the
it
goal.
in,
For the
baby!
goal line. For the total, I mean. Over number.
Tomorrow, lock it up. Sporting. Over 2.5 against who?
Besiktas.
Besiktas. Let's see that tattoo, Jim. That's Sporting right there. If you know about forever, you don't know that. And by the way, Benfica got hammered by one of the biggest clubs in Europe, Bayern Munich. That was no big surprise either. We are the Hurricane. My man Jimmy, we're out.